be so wonderful. Alrighty. So we're not starting yet. Everyone will be joining us shortly. We're just setting stuff up. But for everyone that's going to join later, go ahead and skip to about a minute or two in the future. That's always fun. And we'll get started shortly. Sorry, guys. We are almost ready to get started. I appreciate everyone's patience and diligence. Right. We are almost ready. Let's go, baby. Just about. Alright, just a reminder for those that are supposed to be monitoring, please monitor. I just gotta grab my drink and we will get started. At 3:33. I'm a terrible person. How dare I? Alrighty. Ah, dang it, this is messing up. Alrighty, let's get my camera set. Bada boom, bada bing. Oh man, I should have wore one of my Star Wars shirts. Damn it. How dare I? I wonder if my audio is even being shared. Imagine not having your audio shared during a live stream. Alrighty, well, here we go.
Wait, it is being shared. I just checked.
How dare you? Get off my stream. No, I'm kidding. Alright, we're going to get started in now. What's going on, you guys? It's your boy, Pepsi, or Peppo, a dude with attitude. Trying to fix some stuff here. Keep feeling like I'm all the way over here when I need to be, like, right there. That'll just have to work. What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Pepsi, Pepsi, or Peppo, a dude with attitude. So crack a 40 and check your rollies. I hope everyone is having a peptastic day. Hope everyone's enjoying their week so far. And today we're going to be talking about the book of Boba Fett, the series. We're going to be doing the whole review this time. Kind of cool. You know. Probably going to mess with my camera 1,000 times, but we won't talk about it. Joining me today to discuss this is Mr. Minecraft, Mr. Minnesota, Mr. M. How come when I move it that way, I'm like, how am I further? Yeah, we're good. You're supposed to say hi. It's your intro, bro.
I did say hi.
But yeah, I know, but like, I'm getting really mad at my camera. I'm just going to turn it. Maybe that'll help. Anyway, and everyone's least favorite Mexican, Carlos.
Carlos, alright, Carlos. The big ass voice crack.
Yeah, well, that's been a thing, so that's okay. So.
This one.
Damn it. And the eagle-eyed enigma, the mysterious twist, Forrest the Borist.
Greetings, denizens of the internet.
Okay, thank God he didn't go on. I thought we were gonna get another long intro. As soon as he says greetings, I'm always scared now. Why is my camera doing that? So logically, I'd have to move it this way, right? No, I gotta move it there. That makes zero sense. Do I have it flipped? I'm going to check something real quick, and I apologize for the wait. Anyway, what? Oh, I'm pressing the wrong thing. What the hell? No. You know, I don't always fuck up my live streams. But, you know, when I do, it's absolutely amazing. Okay, let's go to camera. I don't get that. Like, right? That'll just have to work. Alright. What about Lando? That'll just have to work. Okay. So, with that screaming in the background, that reminds me of Han Solo and The Empire Strikes Back, we're going to go ahead and just jump right into this, and yeah, we're just gonna be chilling talking about this stuff. So we're gonna start off with me cutting in and out there through someone's mic. That's a great way to start, I think. Yeah. We're gonna start off with going around and saying whether we had mixed feelings, we were unimpressed, we have no feelings, we have mixed feelings, we're unimpressed, we liked it, we loved it, or we hated it. Okay. I will start off and say I liked it. Austin, your turn.
Yeah, I liked it. It was good.
Carlos.
I'm not exactly sure how you want me to do this, because, like, I liked it, but I had mixed feelings.
Then that's straight up. That's basically what it is. Mixed feelings. Mixed feelings. One of your feelings can be you liked it. Forrest.
All right.
Honestly, I had mixed feelings about it.
Okay. So that's the review. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We'll see you for season 2. Die! Oh shit, he's there! He's fucking there! What the hell, Luke? Well, that's just like what happened in Boba when Luke showed up and took over the show. Wow.
Damn.
Okay. Alright, so let's, we're gonna build up to the finale. First off, talking about episode 1, where, a lot of interesting stuff kind of wasn't used in that episode. It was kind of just like the start of everything, but it kind of felt, it was just like, I don't know. I enjoyed the first episode. I highly enjoyed it. We did a review on it, and we felt like it was off to a great start. Does everyone still feel like episode 1 was really good?
I definitely enjoyed it, and At first, I definitely enjoyed it as well, but like as the series has gone on, I just feel like it was kind of a little bit of a disappointment in
They could
first
have done
episode.
more.
Yeah, because not a lot really happened with him like becoming the what's this called, like the leader of the crime and Masaspa, and then not a whole lot happened with the mayor and all that. I was kind of just introducing little things. The fight scene was, like as I've thought about more, that first initial fight scene was kind of eh.
Yeah.
Boba could have easily used his jetpack and flew out. That's not even just him being OP or anything. That's not like him. He was injured. He could use a jetpack. It doesn't matter how injured he is.
Yeah.
And yeah, but it was still a fun episode. I really enjoyed it. The flashbacks are really good. And I
Austin,
enjoy them.
how did you feel about episode 1?
Like I said, this is kind of the same thing for like the first 3 episodes, where it's like I'm kind of in the same boat where I felt I liked the flashbacks and everything, but a lot of me was just waiting for like what's going on now. I was just more sitting there like, okay, yeah, the flashbacks are cool and everything, but I want to see what is gonna happen, not what did happen. That was my kind of thing.
Oh man, that was cool. Forrest, how did you feel about episode 1?
Episode 1, I think it was good to introduce this situation that Boba and Fennec were facing, taking over Jabba's empire. However, I feel like it kind of left a little bit to be desired.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, one of the things that stood out for episode 1, mainly to me, was the whole thing where they finally showed that Boba Fett survived. Because we all know that there's a lot of casual fans. A lot of people take that as an insult, but it's not. There's casual fans that just watch the movies and maybe watch a little bit of the shows. But a lot of casual fans think, well, wait, why Darth Maul show up in Solo? Wait, why is Boba Fett in Mando? He's dead. Like, for real, and you got to read the books and stuff and all that stuff. We had a Legends reason, which was the original canon reason, which was he got out of the Zorlak and he was helped. But it was nice to finally have them show it in canon, how he got out and all that. And it was a pretty cool scene. He still had the messed up armor, and it was really cool just to see. And then it was a good way to lead into him. He has to take it off because of the acid, so then he ends up with the Tusken Raiders. And that leads into a lot of cool stuff that I actually really enjoyed in the first few episodes, which was a lot of the stuff with the Tuskens. The way that episode ended, how did that episode end for the first
Ended
episode?
with him killing the scorpion guy out of the sand in the flashback.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
To get into the back tank, it was him. He got beat up by those people who were hired by the mayor.
Yeah, that was a cool fight sequence. Yeah, that was cool. So then we go on to episode 2, which felt way more flashbacky than it did in the present. We got some good stuff in the present. It was like they kind of were like, here's 10 minutes, here's the Hutts, and here's Black Chrysanthemum. And I liked that. It was great that they finally introduced Black Chrysanthemum and all that good stuff. Give me 1 minute. I just gotta get rid of that. And
oh damn.
There we go.
Person in chat.
Yeah.
Dude, I was getting horny though. What the fuck?
Shut up. So this isn't working, so let's leave. We'll find another one. So, episode 2 had a lot of good stuff, and some of my theories were actually correct. And a lot of people wanted more to happen in episode 2. I kind of episode 2 was my favorite for a little bit. So I loved episode 2. The flashbacks were good. It got more into the Tusken culture. It showed us how he was a badass at the begin. You know, when he showed up in Mando. You know, it showed us that new flashback with him on Camino as a kid, which was great. I thought it was just flawless the way they pulled that off. What else happened there? The Black Chrysanthemum, the huts. I was really happy that that actually happened because I was thinking about it the whole time. I'm like, the huts, you know, they got to show up. And they did. And then they show up with Black Chrysanthemum on top of that. But then right after that, it's like, oh yeah, so flashbacks, the whole episode. I don't know. At least it ended. It was cool the way they went about it.
Yeah.
So I love the episode. Austin, how do you feel about episode 2?
Episode 2 was the first episode I remember being really fond of because I was super excited about Black Chrysanthemum. I thought it was really cool because it made me think about something more that I guess I should have probably realized from the beginning, that they can actually start making stuff from the comics that's really cool and officially bringing it to the screen. And I don't want to say officially making it canon because Black Chrysanthemum was canon before, but it's just nice to see those characters that are in the books actually on the big screen. So I think that's just why I liked episode 2 a lot.
Trying to make sure I have all these damn comments gone.
Yeah, I saw them, but you were talking, so I just was gonna wait till you until you were done.
The fuck are those comments? It just says for me they're deleted.
Yeah, it says they're deleted, same.
Okay, good.
Oh, it still says who sent them. Online strips without clothing.
Whatever, man. You know. In a galaxy not so far away. Anyway, so how'd you feel about the episode, Carlos? Liked it, loved it, hated it, mixed?
I loved it. I think it was really good. It was definitely one of the better episodes of all the episodes that really focus on Boba Fett. That one's probably my favorite one. I do think there could have been more in the present. And but I really love the flashbacks. I really enjoy all the flashbacks in the show. I think the problem was that with these two first episodes, especially, not a lot really was going on in the present. It was just kind of very little where it's the end of episode 1, you're okay, I wonder what he's going to do. Talk to the mayor and then something else, And the huts were cool, surprised, but they just kind of went up there and were hey, be scared of us. And then they left. It was cool, but it wasn't anything of actual substance to me or anything that, Boba didn't have a big, profound reaction to it. It was just kind of oh, well. And then back to a flashback.
Yeah.
But all the flashbacks were really good. I really enjoyed seeing all that, and just seeing him just, team with the Tusken Raiders, and finally having them get a storyline and actually, feel super, what is it called? They gave Tatooine more of a culture, where it feels you kind of feel you understand who the people there are, Before,
yeah.
We kind of got that a little bit, but now it's a lot more in depth, and now we really understand all these different people who live in Tatooine, the Tusken and stuff. So I really enjoyed it.
Forrest, how did you feel about that episode?
Episode 2. Well, I remember my initial reaction was that it was kind of oversaturated with the flashback sequences. However, I also agree that it helped develop the culture that we see on Tatooine. And, I can appreciate it because it continued to flesh out. Those flashbacks continued to flesh out Boba's relationship with the Tuskens, which, as we've stated in previous interviews, are one of the glowing high points in this series, is how previously raised a species of characters in the Star Wars universe that we viewed as absolute savages, now we can actually see that there's a life even behind that perceived savagery. So, all in all, it was an intriguing episode. I personally, looking back at it, I appreciate it a bit more than I did on the initial viewing. So that's all I got to say about that.
All right, cool. So then we move on to the infamous episode 3, the one that made everyone go, oh man, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, they don't know what they're doing. I mean, I liked Mando, but, you know, Kathleen Kennedy made that apparently. I mean, I don't know. They're going to kill Star Wars. Yeah, because a few people showed up in some really nice ships. Like, sometimes Star Wars doesn't make sense, Jar Jar. But the thing is, you gotta have some more faith than that, man. Hold up, I'm about to kill this bitch. Alright, cool. Back to the interview. Where was I? Oh yeah, episode 3. So that was one where a lot of people turned around and they're like, I'm worried about this series. We're on the 3rd episode, there's only 7 episodes, like what do we do? A lot of people started getting worried. I can understand a little bit of being like, well, maybe the series is going to be bad, but to lose faith in Dave and Favreau after the Clone Wars, after Rebels, after Mando, after so much they've done for us, they're literally the 2 people I've put all my faith in Star Wars in. Because if George Lucas isn't going to have it, at least with them, I know it's kind of safe. With Kathleen and all these others, you know, I gotten a little worried, you know. And Kenobi, if I remember correctly, Kenobi is not going to be directed or be in their hands at all.
Yeah.
So that, I'm cautious, but I'm also open to the idea. Like, let's see what happens. Maybe we got someone else who can really understand and love and be true about Star Wars. And, you know, not be like, oh, hey, so somehow Palpatine came back. We don't know how, but he did. One of the big problems with episode 3 for everyone was the Power Rangers, but it was also, I don't know if it was mixed, but a lot of people thought the chase scene was cheesy. Were there any flashbacks in episode 3? I remember, was episode 3 or...
a couple. It was the one where his family of Tusken Raiders got killed, and then he goes see the Pikes and he talks to them.
Yeah.
I think that was.
Does he get his revenge in that episode?
Nope, that was.
No, it was in the next one. Yeah. So this plus the episode was rather short. It kind of felt like, oh, it happened. So I mean, I liked that episode, but I didn't like everything about it. But my feelings aren't mixed. I liked it. Austin, how did you feel about episode 3?
I don't know. I kind of just feel like they didn't know what to do for the present part, so they just kind of had the biker people because they needed to have like muscle for Boba to like fight with. But I don't have a problem with. But it really did seem like the essence or the meat of the show was in that flashback. Like to me, it just felt like the actual present Boba was just kind of an afterthought when they were planning out the episode. I like in that episode, I guess I had mixed on. That's how I'd put it.
Okay. What about you, Carlos? How did you feel about that episode?
I enjoyed it still, but I do think overall I'm mixed. I think it was just kind of like the way Boba Fett was acting was a little bit strange, and I feel like I'm okay with him being more of a nicer person, but it just seemed like he was kind of letting them walk over him, and it was like, oh, they're like stealing from this one person, and you just hire them, and then you trust them in his own palace when they save him later from Black Chrysanthemum. Black Chrysanthemum fight was pretty cool. I know people were disappointed by that. I know Star Wars Theory was. I thought it was cool enough. I thought it was really cool. And then the Hutts show up again, and they all scared and everything. That also happened there, right? Yeah. And all that was pretty cool, but I just think it was just like Boba Fett like acting a little weird. The flashbacks, there weren't many of them, and it felt like the Tusken story was already done with. And at the time, I was maybe kind of a little bit like, okay, that's good. But now looking back on it, like looking the way everything turned out, I kind of wish it was a little bit longer, just because it felt like now it's like we had like 2 episodes, basically one, where he's with the Tuskens learning from them, because the first one he's just their captive. Yeah. One episode where he's like learning from them and they teach him stuff, and now we just have to assume that he's a totally different person and does not even have like any like, you know, what's it called? Any division within himself. He isn't having to try to be a better person. He just is a better person. There's no struggle within him. That's a problem I have. And that kind of really showed itself in this episode when like he literally is just letting people kind of walk over him and not really, you know, giving much of a shit. Well, maybe not giving much of a shit, but just like not really like just not having a whole lot of integrity, I feel like, you know. But it was a good episode. Just it feels like, again, like it was kind of strange what was going on here, you know. It's just Black Chrysanthemum shows up, the bikers show up. The bikers don't have like a whole lot of characterization, which I think that's probably why people targeted them so much and hated them, because all you can criticize them on is their appearance, because they aren't really feel like characters. They're just kind of there helping out Boba in the story. They don't really do much. There's not really much character besides, okay, I want to help out my city, you know. Like, you aren't sure what they actually want, what anything. Just kind of like, okay, they want money and they want to help with their city, you know. That's a problem I kind of had that kind of came from this episode. Overall, I enjoyed it, but it kind of just like, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it didn't do a whole lot and could have been better. And this is when the series kind of started to make more and more mistakes.
So, Forrest, how did you feel about the Power Ranger episode? Why are we still getting these? All right, hold on.
So,
how
my
do
assessment of the episode. Let's report these comments. Now, the concept of modded individuals, that it is kind of intriguing. That reminds me of LT-514 and some other more human-appearing droid-like figures throughout Star Wars lore. However, did they have to be running around looking half like Cyborg? I think it was a little unnecessary, but the fact that it was another whole subculture in Tatooine and within the region of Mos Espa, that does open up so many realms of possibilities. However, was it well thought out, and did it have to happen in a show centered around Boba Fett?
Let's quick, Carlos.
I think it was a little bit unnecessary. I think they could have focused much more on how he ruled as a leader, because he didn't really seem confident in his leadership capacity. And that's what I think was sort of bizarre and out of character for Boba. But beyond that, I loved the opening sequence where it showed how Boba was willing to hear the plight of those in his territory. That showed a degree of leadership bearing. However, then having him just take on this group of, frankly, 5 teenagers with attitude, I think it was unnecessary. Overall, the presence of the modders just put kind of a weird taste in my mouth, honestly. Now, did it take away from the overall series? Not necessarily, but the execution definitely could have been better.
Oh, sweet, we're going to Scarif. I'm listening, it's just, that's kind of cool. So. Scarif is beautiful, as y'all can see. Alrighty.
It's also dust. So we don't have to worry about Scarif anymore.
Not in my canon. My canon, it gets as soon as as soon as Iron Man snaps his fingers, it comes back. So personally, I feel like the modders got a lot of hate because it was something we hadn't seen before, and they were so damn colorful. But I want to flip the script here. We have them on Tatooine. It seems very out of place. but put them on Coruscant.
Right.
Nobody would have
Right.
would have had a problem. I think that's the
Yeah.
I can agree
problem.
with that.
So I think if they explain, we have one of those situations where, and that happens a lot in this series, which I'm going to get into later. We have a situation where if they explain it later, then it's fine now. You know, like season 2, if they have a season 2, which I don't know if they are, and I'll get into that in a little bit, but the thing is, if they have a season 2, they could show them on Coruscant. They could show Boba Fett on Coruscant. Imagine that. You know, it's not like we have J.J. Abrams, the guy who hates the prequels, running this. We got Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. They love the prequels. They'll have no problem showing us Coruscant,
Okay,
and
Dave
that would
Filoni
be
help fix the prequels.
exactly. So, in a lot of ways, Imperial March, absolutely outstanding. In a lot of ways, they could really fix it that way by having a scene where he goes to Coruscant and says, "Have you talked to our scouts? Blah 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 blah. Have you talked to our new business associates?" And they're like, "Yeah, but we're coming into a little trouble with the last one." And he's like, "This is where y'all come from. This is where y'all did most of your business before Coruscant." Am I just gonna turn off comments here? What the hell? How?
It seems like this bot.
Why won't it let me block this asshole?
Yeah.
No, because I think they have multiple accounts.
Yeah.
Maybe, or can you not block them?
For some reason, it won't let me.
I've blocked
can
every
block
single
it.
third messages, and they all just keep coming back.
How do I turn off comments?
I
This
just
is-
keep reporting them honestly.
I held on the name on my phone and it made me block it. Now I won't see the messages. I don't know if that's
Let me see what I can
something
do
you want
here.
to do. I thought at first there was multiple different accounts, but no, it looks like it's like all the same account.
Why won't I already reported them?
This fucking dumbass idiot. Not you.
Yeah.
Fucking people who are bots or whatever.
I'm dying, getting killed on Scarif. Come on, man.
No,
I just want to talk about Star Wars.
I kind of stand what I said, where it's like I feel like it's just because we had nothing, we learned very little about them. They weren't very developed, so it's like no one else had anything else to like critique them on besides just them not feeling in place because they were not explained at all. And they don't match the aesthetic. I think they're really cool, and I agree with Forrest. He actually brought a good point with the their whole like culture, because also you see the modders later on in the show.
Yeah.
Which we get to. It's episode 4. But yeah.
I think it would be interesting if they're later explored in other possible offshoots, some more of their subculture and why each of them were modded in the fashion they were, because we see later how much that comes into play.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, it
because
feels like
some people, minor spoiler alert, have it very, very, very seriously just to save their lives.
yeah.
Others,
I'm trying to make one of y'all modders. It's not working. Man, how do I add you, Austin?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know.
Does one of us have the account on like your phone? You
It doesn't.
sign in and block it from the phone. Or?
I don't like this. This is pissing me off. I'm dying, and I'm trying to do this, and I'm trying to do that. We'll move on to episode 4 in a minute. Top chat.
Yeah, but I feel like the problem with the modders is a problem just with the show as a whole. Like whenever Boba Fett introduces a character, Book of Boba Fett introduces a new character, new something, it doesn't do it in a good way, at least to me. Like Black Chrysanthemum feels underused, the mods feel underused, the Hutts were there for like a cameo basically. You know, the Pikes are straight from Solo, and they weren't really interesting to me, at least back then. They still aren't. And you look at Mandalorian, every new character it brings in is actually pretty interesting. You know, of course, Mando himself, all like the Mandalorians, like in that special like creed that he's in. Um, Grief Karga or whatever, who the guy played by Bill Weathers, the black man. Cara Dune, fucking like Bill Burr's character. Every character it brings in, um, is like super cool, and like it's really cool to see original characters in that show. And then with Book of Boba, every new character just feels so like underdeveloped, and it makes no sense. You
I
know,
agree. I agree,
like
and honestly,
it's very
that's one of my
strange.
major gripes about the series.
How you doing, Aaron?
Especially for 6 episodes, it was like, where is the character development?
It was
You know,
7.
Like it's
But
like
yeah.
it's super like just jarring to realize like these are the people who made Mandalorian season 1 that so expertly introduced new characters and add so much depth to them all, and like great backstory and everything. And then now they're making this show, and it's like you have no backstory for most of these new characters. I do not know who the mods are. I don't really care about them because I don't know where they came from. I don't know what they struggled with. I don't know. They just don't. They just feel like they're just there to be in the plot. Same thing with Chrysanthemum. I don't know him from the books. I don't know him at all. I don't know his backstory. He seems like he was in there just to kind of be a cool Wookiee. There's not a whole lot. There were some little places where maybe it felt like they were trying to do stuff, but then just didn't really turn out.
All right, so let's get to episode 4, though. I mean, we do kind of got to get to episode 4 now. We've been on episode 3 for a while. I enjoyed y'all doing a little bit of the filler there because of the technical difficulties I was having. How you doing, Idol? I hope you're doing good, brother. But let's get on to episode 4, which was a turning point. Everyone turned around after a week and was like, oh my god, this is the best show ever. So much stuff happened.
I think you're skipping an episode. Are you...
We're going from 3 to 4.
Yeah,
4
3 to 4
is not the Mandalorian episode.
It's not, I know.
Oh, okay.
No, we're going Boba.
We're still on Boba, don't worry. So,
No, but
a lot...
Yeah.
What?
Oh no, I thought because you were saying like it was like such a big episode. I thought you were talking
It
about the
was.
episode where Mandalorian is in.
Well, that's a good episode, but I'm right now I'm going in order. That was a great episode, but this was...
I wasn't sure if you accidentally skipped it or something.
No. So, we go from episode 3 to 4, where everyone lost all their faith, and then they got it all back, because episode 4 was pretty damn good. One, we get to see we get to see a lot of different stuff. We actually get to see Black Chrysanthemum used, because he attacks Boba. That was pretty cool. Some people had a problem with it, said he looked weak. No. Wasn't it episode 2? Or episode 4?
That was
episode 4 the one
3.
where it was just, episode 4 was the one.
And we didn't talk about that? That was one of the things I loved about episode 3 then. Wait, when did we talk about it? No, I know we talked about episode 3. I'm talking about Black Chrysanthemum.
We like barely grazed over that thing.
Because the main thing that we were focusing on was the bikers, because like how we said before, with the flashbacks and every... Well, fuck, never mind. I don't know. I don't even know where we're at.
I think you just might have forgotten to talk about Black Chrysanthemum. I think I might have brought him up like once or twice.
So then you're telling me episode 4 is the one with the Rancor, and the one where they give Black Chrysanthemum to the Hutts, but instead the Hutts don't take them. That's what you're telling me.
They give them to the Hutts at the end, I'm pretty sure.
Well, that doesn't matter. I'm just saying that. Is that the one that happens?
Yeah, episode 4 is the one with is the flashback with them getting the ship and with Fennec and all that, and then also when he has the meeting with all the other crime lords.
Alright, for anyone watching, if we're getting any of this wrong, I severely apologize. I watched a recap, but I didn't have time to rewatch all the episodes, and we've all been busy. I have watched all the episodes twice. It's a lot to kind of miss and match. Okay, so I apologize if we get anything wrong.
In the beginning of episode 4, they go back to the Hutts and they give Chrysanthemum to the Hutts, but the Hutts are like, no, you can just keep them. And then that's when at that point there's a flashback with the part about the ship and everything. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it goes.
Yeah, you are right. I'm looking at the episode right now.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no. They get back with Satan at the end of episode 3.
At the end of episode. Okay, so yeah, the
The end of
fight
episode
and
4
they give him
starts
back.
off with the flashback.
Anyway,
Okay,
okay, so the
well,
thing I love most about episode 3 was seeing Black Chrysanthemum go nuts on Boba, even though people said they thought he was weak. So yeah, and then we move on to episode 4, where
Yeah.
they're giving Black Chrysanthemum back. We got to see a lot of cool stuff in episode 4. Like I said, that episode was an episode that a lot of people were like, hey, yeah, I think this series could actually be good again. So they completely turned around and changed their opinion like that. But a lot of it had to do with the fact that there was a Rancor in it. A lot of people loved that. I loved that. We had, what's his name, Danny Trejo?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, as the
He was in
Rancor
it.
handler, that was one of my favorite parts, honestly.
We got to see Boba get revenge on the Dildo Gang, because I don't know what they're called, so I'm just calling them the Dildo Gang, which was
Dildo.
The
cool.
Content Striders.
He came in on his ship and just fucked them up. That was really badass. I really thought that was cool.
Yeah.
We got to see... that's the episode where he goes back to the Zorlak and uses that seismic charge, which we all, love and whatnot. I liked episode 4. Episode 4 kind of, I want to say it might have become my favorite, but maybe not. It was a tie between it and number 2, because I really did like number 2. Although, one cool thing that was pointed out to me from a meme is that you got these tentacles from the Zorlak coming and pulling on Slave 1, because that's what it's called. And it was given in a fight, but then you go back to Return of the Jedi, and they couldn't pull Lando into the Zorlak pit. That was kind of interesting. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it doesn't really bother me, but I found that as a funny meme. And I was like, well, wait, that kind of has a point there. But yeah, I loved episode 4. How did you feel, Austin, about episode 4?
Hey, really quickly, can I interview for a second? So episode 3 had everything with the Rancor, everything with the Hutts, and episode 4 was basically, I just looked at Disney Plus too, so I'm 100% sure. Episode 4 starts out with a flashback. It has a bunch of big flashback for the whole first half of the episode. Then you see him recruit Black Chrysanthemum and then them meeting with the bosses. That's all episode 4 was.
Yeah.
But it had that whole flashback with him and Fennec. Okay, I want to make sure because you were saying stuff with the Rancor and saying stuff with the Hutts and all that, and that was all episode 3.
The Rancor isn't in episode 4. You're telling me he's not in episode 4?
It's end of episode 3.
Yeah, that's all end of episode 3.
He goes with the Rancor and he's with them, and then he goes back to the town to meet with the mayor.
Okay.
And with the pipes.
What do y'all think of episode 4, Go?
I liked it. It was one of the better episodes. Like I said, I do agree with Pepsi, where it's like, that's where at the point where people were like, just came back to it because of those flashbacks in the said episode and with the boss syndicate. And plus, I remember the meeting at the end. I'm pretty sure, yeah, this was after the meeting episode 4. I didn't realize it, but how they played the Mando theme at the very end. Like when Fennec says, like, you can always hire guns.
Oh, yeah.
That was sick. And that leads into episode 5.
So the best part of episode 4 for me was, like we were talking about, the whole Sarlacc with the seismic charge. That was episode 4.
Yeah, that was episode 4.
Yeah, and it was that was intriguing how they actually struggled in the Slave 1 to get out of the grasp of it, but Lando, as we said, it was like, can't touch me. So,
Yeah.
going to Mr. T on that Sarlacc. But, yeah. Episode 5 is when it started to get intriguing.
All right, and I guess for me, I actually enjoyed episode 4. It probably is my second favorite of all the ones that like are mainly with Boba. I really liked it like right after episode 2. Um, that's where like I kind of in order with those two. But with episode 4, I really enjoyed though the flashbacks. I feel like Boba really showed like it really made him show like him as like a badass. It showed him a little bit of why he's kind of changed a little bit more, where it's like he feels like it's smarter to be wiser and to not just kill everyone you meet because then you can make potential allies. You know, he helps Fennec, Shan, and all that, and that was all really cool. Seeing the modders and Tatooine fix up Fennec. Um, I also really enjoyed when he goes into Jabba's palace and gets the ship back. That's a really badass scene. And then seeing him fight the bikers that killed the Tuskens, seeing him go in the Sarlacc pit. A lot of people had a problem with him going back to the Sarlacc pit because it's like thinking his armor is there because it's like you obviously got out of the Sarlacc pit with his armor on. But I kind of see it as like he kind of just doesn't know because it's all blur to him after he got swallowed by a giant monster. You know, he kind of Errol's memories just aren't really put together. He's kind of like passed out right after in the hot blazing sun of Tatooine. So I forget that really well. That's the way I see it. And then I thought it was really badass with him recruiting Black Chrysanthemum afterwards, and what was it called? And then like talking to all the crime bosses, trying to like actually doing a lot as a crime lord. That was really interesting to me. I really liked that. Although I do think it was a little bit like I don't know why he assumed that they were gonna kind of side with him. I mean, he didn't assume, but you know. I just felt like, it's like, it's like they're crime bosses. It seems like they will probably turn on him, but that's not a big deal. But another thing is, I thought it was a little bit of like, kind of like a dumb line where he's like, where it's like, Fennec's telling Boba, like, oh, money can buy guns or money can buy, strength or whatever the hell. The money can buy, people to help them fight. And it's like, muscle. That's the fucking thing I was trying to, because it's like, yeah, Boba Fett fucking knows that. He's a bounty hunter. He literally was someone you would buy for muscle. So that was kind of dumb, but it was really cool hearing the Mandalorian music at the end of that. But yeah, I think that was a great episode. I think I loved it. There weren't really much problems there for me.
Pepsi, you got anything else to say?
No. Has everyone said what they wanted to about episode 4? Alrighty, moving on to episode 5, the Mando episode, as many people call it. So Boba Fett wasn't in it, like, at all, unless you include the recap, which nobody really does. But it was still a really good episode, completely felt like Mando, Season 3, Episode 1. I loved it, a lot of cool stuff in it, him not being able to wield the Darksaber fully correctly, him admitting that he took off his mask, all that good stuff. Him getting the armor made for Grogu, that was really interesting. By the way, there's going to be spoilers in this stream. So, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. How about that? The spoilers. Yeah. Yeah, I liked it. I liked the fight between him and the ancestor of Vizsla. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
It was nice that they talked about that. It was nice that they talked about the first Mandalorian Jedi thing. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
That was really cool. They also showed the bombing of Mandalore once the Empire took over. A lot of cool stuff. A really solid episode. That episode, just as a Mando episode, 10 out of 10. As a Boba Fett episode, I give it a 8 out of 10. Personally, I loved the episode though. Austin, how did you feel about episode 5?
Awesome.
That's a really cool point, and I'm glad you bring that up.
Wow,
I muted myself.
I really
muted
love the way you
backward.
like the things you added.
Oh
to
my
that
gosh,
discussion.
Austin, that was such a good point, man. Such a
I'm
good
I'm
point.
crying right now. That was such a good, a good argument.
I couldn't have said
As
that
an
better myself.
episode, As an
Oh.
episode itself, it was a 10 out of 10. As an episode of part of the series, 4 out of fucking 10. Boba Fett wasn't even in it.
4 out of fucking 10.
Like don't get me wrong. Like there was no point in the show where I was like I was getting pissed and angry because I just thought it was so cool. Like how you said with the first Jedi thing, but like actually like look after being done with the episodes, like especially episodes like 5 and 6, I guess it's like Boba wasn't in any of this. Two of the shows in his TV show, he's not even in it. Just let that sink in. That's like
not
having,
2, 1.
He fucking had a cameo in episode 6.
That's not that.
Let's
He
be
did
He's
honest.
still
have a
in
line.
it. He's still in
He
it
did have
though.
a line.
Yeah, he did. He
speak.
talked, didn't he?
Yeah, he talked like once, I think.
No.
Well, the point is, at least he was there compared to the other previous episode. That's all.
That's like having, okay, I don't know, for example, let's just say like that's like having Daredevil and having 7 seasons, but for 2 seasons he's not even in it for one of them, but then for the second one in each episode he's just there. But he doesn't
These
say
are
anything.
episodes, not seasons. I get, but anyway,
Yeah,
it was very dumb that he was not in like basically 2 of the episodes. He was barely in one of them.
I get that it was needed, but personally for me, like it felt like that maybe a little bit the directors were like, okay, people aren't really like on board with what we're doing. Really, some people love what we're doing, some people hate what we're doing. So let's
we'll
bring
give
back
them this
Mando.
Wasn't all of this already filmed and done though?
I think it
Most
was.
of it, yes, but still.
But that's what it still
like-
feels like, though.
Yeah,
Maybe
it
it
feels
was
like
them
they're-
like they were making the episodes and they'd already filmed like half of them. And they're like, oh shit, this is like, we need more. I don't know if it was that, but I get the feeling.
But yeah, as an episode itself, overall great, and I'm like good episode and like probably one of the best ones in this series. But then again, let's just change Book of Boba Fett to Mandalorian season 3. That's my honest opinion.
I disagree, but okay. Austin makes a lot of valid points though that you just can't deny, especially when it comes to like if it was a 20 episode season, no one would bitch.
Oh, wouldn't no.
Because you look at Arrow.
Yeah.
Arrow was highly successful, even though there were some seasons people didn't like. The Arrowverse is something that people still watch to this day, even though it's not as popular. And one of the things they did was there was episodes literally where one character was on the other show and the other character was on their show, but yet they were barely in their own episode. This happened here. I didn't mind Mando having his own episode. I was completely fine with it until the next episode where he was only in, I think, 2 or 3 scenes. I didn't mind him barely talking in that because everyone bitched and moaned, oh my god, he's talking too much, the mystique's going away. It's like, no, I mean, yes, but no. Like, I don't really give a shit if he talks. I mean, if he talks, he talks. If he doesn't, he doesn't. I think right now, here's what I'm thinking. This is what I was talking about earlier. Hold up. I'm going to have to fix my mic or turn someone down real quick. Hold up. I got to do something with that. Let me see. Oh, shit. Well, everyone muted their mic. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go, I guess. Okay, so, oh, shit. We're about to get into another game. So, it's kind of what I said, kind of like what I said earlier, where if something fixes it later, then it'll make it make sense now. Oh, cool, we're on Tatooine. Shit, where was I going? I completely lost it. That pisses me off. Okay, so I think he did get a little changed by the Tuskens, but I think part of it's kind of an act. He's letting his guard down, especially after what he says at the end of the series, how, something about how I don't think this is cut out for us. I think part of it's a ploy, and I think sometime in season 2, we're going to get that deadly killer badass Boba back. And, I think Boba's trying to tell himself, I'm different, I've changed. Or he's just hiding it. Something like that. I expected it to happen at the end of season 1, but
Yeah, me too.
it didn't. But I feel like we got a glimpse of it with the Cad Bane stuff, which we'll get into in a bit. But that's part of the reason why I don't mind him talking now and kind of portraying this different character. Because if it makes sense in the long run, I usually don't care. You know. Die, Jedi dog. So, yeah. Anyone have anything else to say about episode Mando 4?
But with what you were saying about how everything
Son of
leads
a
up,
bitch.
What?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh. I agree with that, and I think that definitely happened with Mando season 1. You know, maybe in the past, I think you might have said, like, you might have told me, like, during the stream, I'm not sure, like, maybe it was before stream, you're talking about something, but, like, I think that before I have said that there were some fellow episodes in Mandalorian season 1, but now there aren't, because every character, like Fennec Shand and Cara Dune and all these other characters have a lot more in Mando season 2 and Boba Fett, which I think is great. So they could do that with Book of Boba, but the thing is I can't give them the benefit of the doubt right now. You know what I mean? So maybe they are playing with something, maybe there's something big going on and they like have a lot of plans, but right now, what we have right now, it was some of the stuff was disappointing. But not a whole lot. But with this Mando episode, I thought it was a great fucking episode. Like 100%, like one of the best episodes of Mando. Like in general, it was so good. He got the best fight scene in the fucking show with him using the Darksaber at the very beginning.
Yeah, that was better.
I forgot like Trandoshans. I don't know what their species called. But that was one of the best fight scenes. Like he also like cuts himself with the sword. So cool. Just every single bit about it, you know, and it wasn't even all action. It was just story, and it was just like seeing Mando again. It really made me feel like, damn, like Boba doesn't have this. Like this is.
Well, yeah, but bear in mind that was built.
Like
that took a while to build.
Yeah, I know, but like I was just like, it was a big thing to me. But like, yeah, it definitely was big, and like I do agree with Austin though. Like I think it was good that this episode was in here. But I do think that they messed up with having 2 episodes that were not focused on Boba.
Yeah.
Because I think on Clone Wars, if they done this in the Clone Wars TV show or in Rebels, it would have been totally fine because those have 20 episodes. This is only 7, and when 2 of those 7s are not even with Boba like really that much, and he doesn't do a whole lot, that's where a problem comes for me. And I'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But I might get that later, depends if I forget. But yeah, that's kind of my whole deal with it. I really loved it, great episode, but kind of interesting as a Boba Fett episode.
You know, I can really agree with that because, like you said, it sort of defeats the point. If the series was meant to focus on Boba and how he deals with, okay, now you're king of the castle, how are you going to handle it? The series making it look like he immediately falls back to rest on Mando's laurels sort of defeats the purpose of Boba supposed to being the one in charge anyway.
Yeah. Well, one of the big things is Book of Boba. Why you got to look at it like a book. So why is Boba writing chapters about Luke teaching Grogu?
Yeah.
Like that kind of doesn't make no sense. But
it's like I'm sorry to bring this up, but it's like in the final book of the Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn, there's just a whole section focused on Jacob.
Yeah. All right. Well, unfortunately, we are going to have to move on because we do have a little bit of a time crunch, and we spent a lot of time on episode 3 and 4. So now we got to go to episode 5, which
I mean 6.
I'm trying to episode 5. We just finished episode 4. Was it? Episode 5. So episode 6. Yeah, you're right. At least I rewatched the episodes and I tried to prepare. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, episode 6.
Okay.
No, I'm not making funny. I'm just saying, like, just laughing along. So go ahead and
start talking about episode 6.
What?
Hey, what?
Go ahead and start talking about episode 6.
Oh, okay. Um, so episode 6 begins with forgot exactly how it begins.
Oh my
Mando.
fucking god.
I lost my fucking train of thought. So episode 6 is the episode that has a lot of really cool shit with Mando, and it has a lot of cool shit with Luke Skywalker, and we actually get to see Baby Yoda. So I think somewhere at the beginning of the episode, I don't remember exactly how it starts, but I remember, not Boba, Mando is going out to see Baby Yoda. I'm pretty sure he just tells Fennec Shan that he has someone else to go see. He goes over to the planet that Luke is on, and he's trying to find Luke so that he can find Baby Yoda. But when he gets to the planet, he sees R2-D2, our little friend.
Yes.
And so R2-D2 kind of just leads him over to where a bunch of robots are building a Jedi temple, looks like, for Luke. It's very exciting there. And it was really funny when all the robots, they start to build a little bench for Mando to sit on as he waits for someone to come meet him. And the person that comes meets him is obviously Ahsoka Tano. So cool seeing her again and seeing her in, interact with Luke and Mando in the episode. So that was all cool. So I'm pretty sure let me see a little bit of Luke and Baby Yoda. We see him train him. That was some of the best Star Wars we've gotten in a long ass time. I really loved everything with that. Then after that, there's a you kind of hear not Boba, hear fucking Mando talking to Ahsoka Tano about the child and how maybe it isn't good if he sees him because Baby Yoda is kind of how am I keeping calling Baby Yoda? It's Grogu. Fuck, perhaps you come back. I need you.
I wanted to say something,
job.
but I really didn't want to throw you off your flow.
Yeah,
No, but
you
yeah,
had
you're
a good
completely
flow
right.
there, bro. I wasn't going to disturb you either. But
Yeah, but then so we see a lot of Grogu being trained by Luke and all that. All those scenes were really good in that. And seeing Mando
Luke
not
looked
being able to.
amazing.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
Luke
yeah,
looked
I
amazing,
love-
but he sounded a little bit. At
I thought he
times.
sounded fine.
Especially on a rewatch. The first time around I thought it was fine, but the more I listen to his voice, the more I'm like, dang, he sounds really weird. Because that's not an actual voice. That's an AI voice. It's very. It feels a little weird. The first time around, I was fine with it, but once you rewatch it, and actually I pay attention to some of those lines, you're like, wow, that feels weird. I think it works really well for Luke. It works really well for Luke because Luke was very kind of stoic in Return of the Jedi, so it works a lot better using an AI. But I just think you lose a little bit of life in there, where it feels like
the entire time.
Saying.
The entire time, it just kind of feels like Luke is just trying to be very humble, and it doesn't really feel like there's a lot of I don't want to say emotions because that would be wrong to say, but he just seems like, yes, Grogu, you're whatever. It just seems very, yeah.
Okay, if I'm being honest, as much as I liked seeing Luke, I have mixed feelings about how they're handling him. Doing the whole no attachment thing.
Oh, definitely.
I agree.
See, in Legends, they didn't follow that. They changed things. And all this is going into the sequels. They're trying to show that Luke's making the same mistakes and greatest teacher's failure, and he fails again, just like they did. But, we don't need that. How's he get with, in Legends, he gets with Mara Jade. He sleeps with her and marries her because he's in love. He falls in love. But he handles it different. They don't hide themselves from attachment. It's a completely different scenario, and it's handled better. And Luke's still stoic and all that stuff, but he's not emotionless. So that's kind of where I'm kind of getting conflicted here.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I feel like I thought Luke would have been a lot more teaching in his own way, the way the Jedi should have taught people. In a way where if he were training his father, Anakin Skywalker, then Anakin would not turn to the dark side. Because the reason he turns is because the Jedi are very like impartial to everything and emotion, and they just kind of cut themselves off. But that's not right. Yeah, I mean that's the whole point of the sequels. That's the whole point that George Lucas was trying to tell that story. So if Luke is gonna be this way the whole time, I hope it's just him training him in that he makes a mistake. He's a new teacher. That would make sense, and that'd be really cool seeing that more depth with Luke, where he doesn't just automatically get it right the first time. But for the way it is right now, yeah, it is kind of disappointing that kind of happened. I really hope Baby Yoda, really hope fucking Grogu goes back with Luke sometime. And on top of that, we was talking about episode 6 still. At the very end, you know, kind of skipping over some of the Cobb Vanth stuff, but we'll go back. We can go back to that later. So it's kind of its own little thing. At the very end, when we hit Luke giving a choice to Grogu, it's kind of supporting that they just kind of have Grogu go with Mando, and then that's all we see. And Luke doesn't even go with Grogu or anything. You know, that was disappointing because it's such a great finale, and then Mando season 2, where it's like, oh shit, we have to say goodbye to Grogu, and we might not see him, and all this. And then immediately after, not even like a second episode after seeing Mando, he's already going to be back.
Yeah, see, my thing with that is, one, I thought when he was going to choose to go with Mando, it was going to be, like Star Wars Theory had this idea that he was going to go, but Luke was going to show up and not save the day with Boba. None of us wanted that. But he was going to show up and show Grogu why he needed the Force. And then Grogu was going to change his mind and go with Luke at the end. And that wouldn't have affected Season 2 at all. That would have just helped seal the deal. Like, hey, Grogu knows. And then we could have got Grogu in Season 25 of Mando, because let's be honest, that's where Mando's probably hopefully going to go, Season 25. And I'd be fine, I'm being honest, I'd be fine with, by Season 5 or 6, getting Grogu back in Mando. Because Mando has a big gap to fill. You know, they got like 20 years. So they could tell a lot of story about the, you know, Mandalore and this and that, and then all of a sudden 2 or 3 seasons later, time jump, and then all of a sudden Grogu. That'd be cool. And with this right now, the way it's showing, it kind of does undermine Season 2, because you got to think, what happens to the people that didn't watch Book of Boba, who didn't give a shit? They're going to be watching Season 3 like, what the fuck? They're probably going to do a recap. They're probably going to do a recap.
That's why I personally did not like that the episode played out how it did. Because it was just like literally...
They should have saved it for Mando.
It was literally that. It's like, okay, if you don't watch Book of Boba, you're going to be absolutely bloody clueless as to why Grogu is back with Mando.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. They're probably going to do a recap, which I appreciate. But what about... I could imagine myself, like, let's say I hated Boba. Like, let's say they did an episode about fucking Rey, and I don't want to watch that shit. And it's like, oh, okay, Mando Season 2, recap. What happened in Rey Not Really Skywalker Season 1? Man, fuck that, man.
Why is Anakin back? Not even Anakin's back alive now. What the hell? What happened?
What is this?
Probably has returned. Somehow he has returned. What the fuck?
Somehow he came back.
Do you explain that? No.
The dead speak. Let's quit supremacy, Carlos.
But then also moving on to the Cobb Vanth stuff.
Let's talk about that.
Cad motherfucking Bane. That was fucking awesome. I loved seeing Cobb Vanth again. I really just enjoy his presence. So yeah, I think the way he gets introduced into the episode is Mando going there to kind of help recruit him after Mando goes to Jabba's palace, which I guess is now Boba Fett's palace. Goes there, and Boba's talking about how he needs more foot soldiers and needs more people to help him. Yeah, so the Mando goes to Freetown, which that's the name of
they renamed it because we're woke, I guess. I don't know.
Now they're free.
We're free.
No, but he goes there, and he tries to recruit them. They're like, nah, really, it's not really our battle. But Cobb Vanth's a little bit like, you know, you might have something.
He did kind of save our town.
He kind of saved our town.
He saved our ass. We gotta save his.
Because we're getting more people with spice. As we see at the very, very beginning of the episode, when you see Cobb Vanth kind of stop some people who are some pikes that have spice. And that was really cool. That's why I was getting stuck at the beginning of the fucking episode. It doesn't fucking start out with Mando. It starts out with Cobb Vanth. Fucking forgot about that. But yeah, that's how the episode begins.
That's what I was gonna
Well,
say. I was
one of
like,
the things.
It opened with Cobb Vanth, brother.
Well, yeah. See, they introduced someone there though. Cad motherfucking Bane in live action. Now some people complain, oh my god, he looks different. Like, shut up, it's live action. He looks magnificent. I only have one possible complaint about Cad Bane, but other than that, I love the way he talked. Like, my favorite line from him is, Boba Fett was a cold-blooded killer who worked for the Empire. See, what they acknowledge what Boba was. So I think that's, even if they were going in a different direction with Boba, they're going to change it. John and Dave are going to look back and be like, well, we wanted Boba to become good, but a lot of people do want him as a cold-blooded killer. We can do that. There's a lot we can do with that, you know? And then they're going to turn around, and that's what they can do. That's why I have faith. But Cad Bane was amazing. Whenever he shot Cad Vanth, I was like, there's no way. Nobody dies in Star Wars. Nobody's ever really gone, right?
No one's ever really gone.
Yeah. And I'm glad he's not dead, because one, hell of a good actor choice for Cad Vanth. And two, there's a lot they can do with him in Mando, or even just him, more so in Boba, since it takes place on Tatooine, because, you know, Mando's gone, so I don't really want to see Boba Fett in Mando Season 3. Let's move on a little, let it breathe. You know, Boba Fett can show up in Andor, hunting down someone, or there's so many things they can do in this Mandoverse. Which I kind of want to call the Filoni-verse, because it's not going to be just about Mando. But I really did like it. I love how he just killed the guy and all that stuff. It was just so great seeing Cad Bane. And as soon as I saw it, I rewatched it with my father, and then I showed him a little thing showing him who Cad Bane was and all his lightsaber battles with Obi-Wan and this and that. A lot of cool shit, just so he'd know how much of a badass Cad Bane was. And then he kind of knew. He was like, okay, I understand why you're so excited. Like, no shit, this is Cad fucking Bane. Are you telling me there's more than one fucking bounty hunter in the galaxy? Hell yeah.
So, what I really enjoyed, one little aesthetic choice I noticed for Cad Bane was, it seems, as he approached what he would encounter by the end of Season 1, if we notice, when he's first introduced, how large, like, the brim of his hat is.
Yeah.
And as he ages, it gets shorter and shorter and shorter. Did anyone notice that? Because I was looking at photos, I was like, his hat
I
was
didn't, but that doesn't mean
when he
you're
was
wrong.
First introduced. His hat was huge. Here, I'll send you a picture of it right now, Pepsi.
Yeah, I'll look at it later.
Send you a picture of your. Wow.
Dude, that's not...
No, yeah.
Cad Bane's really cool.
There's so much to appreciate about Cad Bane, but yeah, he was
I do
there.
have some problems.
What were your problems? I want to hear your incorrect issues.
Episode 6, I was so fucking good. And I love episode 6.
Oh, wait. If you're going in episode 6, let's just talk about episode 6 as a whole. Are we done with episode 5?
Yeah. No, we're on episode 6 right now.
Episode 6.
And episode 6, he was great. My problems will come later, which we'll talk about that later. But I have like no problems with episode 6 other than like Luke giving Grogu the choice. Like having to give him a choice, but I hope that's something they like, I don't know, they try to rectify, but everything else, I really love seeing Luke train and him and everything. That was all fucking perfect for me. I really love this episode.
I loved Yoda's lightsaber being there.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
Canon or whatever the hell. It was just cool, you know?
You're shit, man. It was awesome.
You know what I didn't like? You know what I didn't like?
What?
Blue people. I don't like Cad Bane 'cause he's blue.
Blue people, ew, what a fucking clanker.
You're spacist.
I know I am, and I'm proud.
So, has everyone talked about?
I think we've
everything?
just about talked about
Six?
everything with episode 6.
Does anybody have anything to add?
Does anyone? Because we're about to finally get to the finale.
Cod Vanth is really cool.
Cod
Yeah.
Vanth is hot.
Cobb
We know Cad Vanth. We know you really like Cad Vanth for the 5 minutes he was in.
He is so awesome.
He's not dead.
Excellent.
That's all I'm gonna say. He's not dead.
No what do you mean that's all you're gonna say? We're gonna talk about it in a minute.
I just wanted to say it first. I'm special.
You are, but we'll talk about that later.
Don't worry, I already have an
Okay.
actor for him on speed dial.
So we got episode 7, the finale. All out shoot fest. A lot of stuff happens in that episode. No Luke. Spoiler alert. No Luke. No Han. No Hutts, really. None of the stuff people wanted or really expected besides seeing Grogu and Mando reunited. Some people wanted that as long as Grogu would kind of go back still with Luke. I mean, let's be honest. If that would have happened, we would have been like, yay. But it was like a dragged out kind of battle. It was a cool battle. Don't get me wrong. I loved the way it played out. I love the stuff. Boba finally used his fucking jetpack. About time, buddy. Fucking got Alzheimer's or some
He
shit.
already had one.
Yeah. He just forgot somehow. I had a lot of good stuff in this. Y'all go ahead and start. Yeah. You guys go ahead and talk about the stuff y'all enjoyed. Austin, Mr. M, you first. Yeah. Before I die on camera, please.
Look, I know. I'll say right now, I know you kind of.
You're kind of cutting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though this whole kind of just action, I loved it. I enjoyed the action in this show, in this episode a lot, even though this whole show was just kind of action. I loved it.
Yeah, this episode had a lot of really good action.
Yeah, I did enjoy it. Could have been better. Could have not been dragged out so much, but I did enjoy the finale. It just didn't feel very finale. I'm starting to feel like. How did you feel about? Well, just let's everyone talk. I mean, I know there was a lot of blasting, but let's the standoff with Cad Bane and Boba in the street, that was pretty entertaining. That was interesting. Felt like we were almost gonna get him pissed. What'd y'all think of that?
Yeah, it was really cool seeing a lot of that. Every scene with Cad Bane was like a scene stealer. It was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing him team up with seeing Boba team up with Mando was really cool. All that. But like, I feel like this finale, there was a lot of really cool things, but I was hoping for a lot more. I was hoping that it would actually fix or make sense of some of the things that happened beforehand, but it doesn't really at all. You get like the mods who are like they want them to stay inside the building that exploded at the end of episode 6, which we forgot to talk about. We forgot because it's not a huge thing. Like this stuff like kind of happens. They kind of just like doesn't have weight.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of like they're there, and then the mods.
I
want
liked
to stay.
Black Chrysanthemum tearing off the arm. That was cool.
Yeah, Black Chrysanthemum was pretty cool in this episode. Although it doesn't feel like he did a super whole amount of things.
He could have done more, yeah.
But he could have done more. He didn't really ever have a scene like in that episode where he had his moment, where like it felt like before, like in some Mando episodes, like everyone had like a moment where it's like, damn, like that was badass, or like, they did something like really cool, interesting, or like. This episode, like Chrysanthemum just kind of like he was gonna get like surrounded, and they cut away, and then you cut back to him like kind of like all bruised up and all fucked up. You only get to see him just tear people apart. Well, that's because
we got to see that in the previous episode with him tearing the arm off, which was cool.
Oh yeah, that was cool though. Yeah.
Black Chrysanthemum. We're gonna see more of him in Kenobi. I'm thinking we're gonna see him get that scar from Kenobi in the Kenobi show, which hopefully we'll be able to do some kind of stream in the next few months, just discussing what we want from Kenobi and what we think is gonna happen. But that'll be off like it comes out in May, so March. It'll probably be in April when we do the stream. But yeah.
Yeah. But I think the problem with me is that it was just action. There wasn't a whole lot of character in it. Like, I don't know. Like it was weird. And then like of course when Mando and Goku get reunited, it was like.
Did you just
cool.
say Goku?
Grogu.
I thought, am I the only one that thought he said Goku?
Seriously, Goku was
Sounded
nowhere.
like poorly. Gogurt. When baby Gogurt.
Goku.
When Gogurt and Mandalorian get back together. When Grogu and Mandalorian get together,
Mandarins.
it was cool. And then the Mandarin get back together. It was cool, and it was like a nice little heartwarming scene. But it didn't have the impact it could have had if they had waited longer. Because it'd been a year in real life, but we hadn't seen Mando struggle that much without him. It was like one episode without him that he kind of really struggled with.
Somehow your daddy came back.
But like, I feel like that was a missed opportunity where they could have waited longer. I don't know why they didn't. It might have been because people would have been less interested in Mando without Grogu. But
that's what I'm feeling it was. Which is not true.
The storytelling, yeah. I really enjoyed episode 5. Episode 5 was a fucking masterpiece in my mind.
Well, you gotta also realize maybe... Okay, there's something I want to point out before I forget, real quick.
Yeah.
Alright, in the Clone Wars Season 1 and 2, a lot of people weren't super into those episodes. Why? Because Dave Filoni didn't have full control till around Season 3 of character arcs and stuff. It wasn't until later. I'm feeling like they're either A, getting pressured by Kathleen motherfucking Kennedy, the same person who who said we don't need Anakin in Rise of Skywalker. We'll just use his voice. All that good stuff. I'm feeling like maybe she got involved. I'm feeling like either A, she got involved and she's restricting them, or they just don't have as much freedom right now. And it's going to come later, kind of like how it did with the Clone Wars. They got the freedom a little bit so later. It wasn't till the later seasons. And that kind of sucks. I wish they'd just have the freedom now, because they're doing good. It's either that, or maybe Kathleen Kennedy was like, well, Grogu's our best marketing tool. We're going to go with Grogu. We want Grogu back.
Yeah, I think that was...
I mean, the closest thing I can think about is the whole debacle with Marvel Creative Committee and the MCU. It's like, for the first chunk of Phase 1 and 2, there was like individuals like Avi Arad and all those higher-ups that they had at the time at Marvel trying to influence the film division, and I sort of feel parallels between what was happening then and what's happening now. Because I agree, it's like, Grogu... I'm sorry, I love the character, but he should have stayed gone.
Now, hold on. Okay, yeah, I just remembered something. But finish what you're saying, yeah.
It would have made the reunion more organic. Had they had that episode several years down the line, then yes, having Grogu struggle with that and having that internal conflict, because in all reality, how long has passed?
A year.
Year maybe? Couple of months? But at the end of the day...
It's been over a year in real life, but in their...
Yeah, but in universe, how long has it been really?
Oh,
it could have only been a matter of months. Is that really fair to the character, the fans' hope for the character? I don't know about y'all, but I'd love to see Grogu bust out a lightsaber and start cutting down a couple of imps,
I have a theory.
Maybe like in the Ahsoka series. And see some of Luke's internal struggle there with learning how to be a teacher. And showing his regret. but overall, for a larger connected universe narrative, I do not think bringing Grogu back into the fold in the way they did was necessarily a conducive manner. As one of our major arguments has been, it's like, look, if it's a 20 episode season, yeah, maybe that could be justifiable. But having him go back with Mando and stay back with Mando, I don't think was the smartest thing long term.
I hate to kind of cut everyone off, but I'm getting called right now, so I'll be right back.
All right. Well, I'll Go ahead.
I'll say easily one of my favorite parts was the Rancor.
Yeah, that was definitely a cool part.
Yeah.
That was just like, I love how it was teased, but I would have loved to see like the training process. I would have loved to see Boba get knocked on his hindquarters by, you know, the Rancor. And on the topic of Black Chrysanthemum, in all fairness, he got his Harry Hickmashai kicked. So, several times, so. He ain't no spring chicken at this point, so.
Okay. So, I have a theory. We were talking about Grogu, and it's kind of making me think more and more. This theory, I think it was not by not by Star Wars Theory, but by a guy named Josh, who has a channel called The Den of the Nerds. Go check him out. He's pretty cool. But it was suggested, I think by him, that what if Grogu is the Mandalorian? And that's why the show's called The Mandalorian. What if the whole show is about Grogu? I'd be fine with that. And I'd be fine with Grogu coming back. But they could have still had the show be The Mandalorian and be about the other Mandalorian, you know, and then at the end of the season we get Grogu back. Or, you know, we could do half and half. We could see him training with Luke throughout the whole season and see what's going on with Luke, or not Luke, Mando. And then the series could be about Mando for just a little while. Yeah, while it's still about Grogu, you know? And then at the very end of that season, it's like, okay, we're going to bring them back together. That would have been so much more emotional. But I feel like there was pressure. In some way, either there was restriction, pressure, or lack of creative, and that's why Grogu was brought back. But I would not be surprised if Grogu ends up being the Mandalorian, and he ends up being a Jedi, too, at the same time. But we'll see. Maybe he'll just be a Mandalorian. I don't know.
But like another major problem I have, well, okay, first off, right, we've gone on this huge tangent about Mandalorian, Baby Yoda, right, which is fine, but like in a show based on Boba Fett, if we're talking like so much about the Mandalorian, that's where I feel like the problem comes in, where I feel like they kind of accidentally made the Mandalorian into like basically how Boba Fett was, you know, very like, he doesn't talk much, he's very just kind of like, you know, does job, he's a bounty hunter, which is a lot how Mandalorians are, but like now it's like you can't have Boba Fett like that because you already have Mando. Hey, Mando's less like, you know, of a killer, cold-blooded killer of the Emperor, but I feel like it's like you can't have two protagonists in like the same universe who like are gonna be crossing over a lot, who are both.
Well, just don't have them cross over a lot, but I wouldn't mind Boba still being that way, because Boba's different, just because they're both quiet. Yeah.
I think he could have been like that, but I think like I don't know, but like, mainly I don't know why I kind of on that, but I mean what I mean is like a lot of the stuff with Boba Fett and then the season finale was just kind of disappointing with me. With also it's like they put in Cad Bane. I thought he was really cool in there, but it made me question, why would you bring him in at the fucking end of the season when the whole show could have been way better if he had been the main villain throughout the whole season? If he had been the person who had went there and killed the Tuskens, if he had been there and was like, you know, hiring the mayor to do all this, and he was trying to fuck with Boba, but he was also working with the Pikes the whole series. You know?
Yeah.
That would have been way better, way more interesting. You could have had a whole arc with like a bunch of flashbacks of the Clone Wars, seeing Boba and how he like was treated by Cad Bane, maybe have some resentment there, or maybe have like, you know, something interesting with that. Instead of just shoehorning him in at the end of the episode, putting him in the second to last episode for shock value, and it was shocking and it was fun, and it was cool, and it was like, damn. But then, story-wise, it would have been way better if they had just had him in there since the very beginning. Instead of just introducing him to the end, where, like, cool, I guess it's in here now, but it's like, I watched the Clone Wars. I watched it once, right? I really enjoyed it, but I don't remember every single little thing with Cad Bane and Boba Fett. You know, that wasn't the whole point of that show. That show, I remember a lot more about Ahsoka and Anakin and Obi-Wan, you know? I don't remember a lot of things about them, so it would have been cool if they had at least had something with Cad Bane to make me care a lot more and be like, oh yeah, you know, Cad Bane. And for 99% not 99%, but for a lot of the audiences who didn't watch Clone Wars, you know, show flashbacks of new content and like see Boba and interact with Cad Bane during the Clone Wars. And maybe show that deleted scene from the Clone Wars where Cad Bane puts the dent in Boba's helmet. You know, something like that would have been really cool, and it would have added a lot more. You know, I also don't like how when Boba is fighting Cad Bane, you know, I think what was it? It was like Cad Bane's like, you gotten soft, and Boba's like, it comes with age, and I'm like, I mean, like, I remember I saw someone that Star Wars Theory said that he doesn't like that line that much, and I don't like it that much either, because I feel like it would have been better if he'd said it comes with wisdom, you know? Being soft comes with wisdom. You learn not to just kill someone every time you meet them, you know?
Ooh, I like that. I
like that way better, yeah.
Mistake they made where it's like, it comes with age. It's like, you're making it sound like old people just
Running
get
quick,
soft.
Carlos.
It's like,
hey,
but
I just wanted to explore something too, something I was just thinking about while I was sitting here listening to you guys. Didn't Grogu at some point in The Mandalorian like choke out Moff Gideon?
I don't think he choked him,
point?
no.
Like when, like any of the scenes where
Quick,
Moff
Carlos.
Gideon had him captive? Because I don't seem to recall, but it would be a very interesting dynamic if it was not, in fact, Mando that was destined to be Mandalore, but what if it was Grogu, who was the true wielder of the Darksaber?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember, and I can't remember for the life of me because I haven't gone back through Mando for a minute, but that's an interesting dynamic I would like to be explored, you know?
No.
So. And another thing is, what makes a person worthy to wield the Darksaber? That would be very interesting to explore in season 3 of Mando, but
I mean,
I don't get why it was brought in and brought up so much in a show centered around Boba once again.
Well, I think it'll be explained later, just like the whole thing with Sabine and the Darksaber. Remember how that was a plot hole and a lot of people, you know, and then they fixed that whole thing. It's 4 o'clock, just so you know, for us, so we're gonna try to wrap this up. Austin, are you back? Shit. Bruh.
we
Okay.
move on. Maybe.
So,
Nice.
huh? What do you mean?
We could like move on from this episode and just talk about like thoughts on the series as a whole, little other things.
That's what I wanted to do. Yeah.
How I remember you saying before, you've told me that they should just make a show called like Book of Star Wars or something like that. I don't like that name at all, but I do.
No, that was not an official name. Hell no, that was just no.
The name threw me off because I think the name, like, no offense.
No, it was not. Oh my god.
I know. Well, I know.
No, it's just I want to make sure no one thinks I ever once, like, I used that word, that idea, but it was more so about the idea, not the fucking title.
Yeah, something off the top of your head, but like make a show where it's just like similar to Clone Wars or something, where it's about the era and it's more about all the characters here, because I feel like it would have been way better if this show was part Book of Boba and part Mando, you know? So like they had time to develop Boba, and they didn't have to rush his story and finish it. They could just like show a little bit right now, and then show us the rest of Mando season 3, basically. You know, or they could have kept on making Mando about like they could have had Boba be Mando more, you know, because it is called the Mandalorian, and Boba is a Mandalorian. He's not the Mandalorian, but I think it would have suited if it's just the Mandalorian. It's about Mandalorians in general, you know.
Yeah.
Or I
Damn
just
it.
think, like you said, just having a show where it's just all about Star Wars would have been better. I think that's what they should do because they're trying to make it all interconnected, but I feel like that's at a detriment because we get a show like Book of Boba Fett that you then go in like, okay, where's Boba? What's he gonna do? And then they don't do a whole lot, and it's a little disappointing. And it's like they focus more on Mando, you know, which that's a problem, at least to me. Well, I know that they focus more on Mando, but they had too much focus on Mando. Where it kind of felt disappointing that we didn't get a whole lot of really good stuff with Boba. And a lot of it just kind of felt like it would have been really good if we'd seen his struggle throughout the whole series and seen him struggle to kind of change into this new person instead of it just being like, okay, now he's this new person. You know, I get that he changed, but I think it would have been cool seeing him struggle more and adding more depth to his character. But yeah.
Yeah, that would have been cool. All right, so let's get to the end of the series. The final thoughts, what we wanted, what theories we have, if there should be a season 2, will there be a season 2, all that stuff. First off, I think it's very possible we're going to get a second season, especially with what Boba said. You know, this doesn't feel like it suits us, you know, all that stuff. I think that's going to lead to him no longer being on Tatooine, which would be cool. Maybe him going off and doing his own thing. The Book of Boba Fett doesn't have to be completely about him being the overlord of crime. It's supposed to be about Boba. So I'd be perfectly fine with them leaving Tatooine and him going and doing all sorts of stuff. Coruscant, everywhere, showing us Crate, one of the only things from the sequels I would actually like to see. You know, stuff like that. That'd be really cool. But if we didn't get a season 2, I also wouldn't be surprised. A lot of people gave up on the show at episode 2 and 3, which was very disappointing. It's like, you got to take your time, man. Like, show a little bit of, well, thanks, dude. Appreciate that. No, show a little bit of confidence, you know. But I guess I wasn't really disappointed that Han Solo didn't show up, but a lot of people thought we'd get something with either Han or Bosk. I'm a little disappointed that they didn't do anything with Bosk, but we got Cad Bane. I think Cad Bane's still alive. What are y'all's thoughts on that? Well, that's a really interesting take.
I agree. I think Cad Bane is still alive. That blinking red light is believed to be either some sort of backup heart monitor or something of the sort. Or something to call that little annoying droid dude that we saw in Bad Batch. I can't remember his name or designation to save the life of me, but
that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's alive. What do you think, Carlos? Carlos?
Oh, I'm mic muted? Fuck, I was talking, that's why you were acting so weird.
Excellent input,
when I was
Carlos.
Talking. No, okay, well, sorry that I wasn't talking earlier, but, I hope he's alive. I think it makes sense for him still being alive because he just kind of got stabbed, like, somewhere in the chest. He got shot in the head last time. Like, he still has that, like, little fucking, like, the little metal plate on his head. So I'm guessing that's canon that he did get shoot on Boba, make the dent in his helmet. So, but then in turn, Boba shot him. So, I hope he's alive because it'd be kind of dumb if he just died like that. And it's like, bro, we could have got a better story with like a lot more build up. You know. leading up
Yeah. I think we might get also Korra, the girl from Solo,
to that. Kira. Or
later.
whatever.
A lot of people wanted her then. I think they're playing the season safe just like they did with Mando season 1. But we'll have
I
to
think
wait
they
and
playing
see.
it a little too safe.
Oh, too safe? Yeah, I'm just saying in general they played it safe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd go. I mean, I enjoyed the series. If this is
I
all we get,
enjoyed every
I'm going to be
episode.
very disappointed. But if we're going to get more, then yes, I've enjoyed it so far, like 100%.
That's the thing. Why overall with the series, I feel very mixed because I really enjoyed every episode. Like, I kept me watching it. At first, I was like not really excited. If you remember, like I was just kind of like,
Yeah.
I looked at the trailers. I was like, I mean, it looks cool, but I wasn't really into it. You know, I like Boba Fett. I like Star Wars. It just kind of like I don't know, it didn't really pique my interest. But now, you know, like seeing the first episode, I was like, damn, it's actually really cool seeing Tamara Morrison back and Boba Fett and everything. Fennec Shand. So I really enjoyed every episode. There was never any like episodes that I didn't like just hated, right? But there was problems with every episode for sure for me. Not every episode, but just most episodes, and just overall with Boba, I think they just kind of like they went in a little bit of a wrong direction, like with just having him kind of just be changing and not explain as much as they could. I would have been cool seeing more flashbacks with the Tuskens. The problem with the flashbacks is that there was nothing going on in the present. So when you only get like flashbacks, it's your only substance. You just feel like, okay, what's even the point? I'm learning nothing. But if the flashbacks were there to service the present in the story, that's how you do flashbacks right. I feel like they're just kind of like doing flashbacks to trying to like show stuff with Boba, but it didn't really, wasn't super relevant to the main story because Boba Fett, like, just kind of, you don't see him change, like, you just kind of see him going from 1 to 2, you don't really see him going, like, okay, he's slowly becoming this new character, he's slowly changing, and he has a struggle. I think that would have been really interesting if he had a struggle throughout the whole series, unless, like you said, they're trying to set something up where, like, he wasn't actually trying, or, like, like, it's just all a facade. That could be interesting, but I think they should have done a little bit more here if they're trying to go for that, because a lot of people are very disappointed with the way things turned out. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I just think, like I said, need a little bit more with Boba and his character.
Oh yeah,
explain how like this,
I can agree with that.
and just a tiny bit too much Mando. I just think you could easily solve this problem if they just had a show that's just like this era of Star Wars, like post-Empire.
Yeah, but there'd be so much that went into it. I kind of...
It would be kind of hard to make, yeah. I do see why they don't.
I mean, I'm enjoying the Mandoverse so far. They haven't made a big mistake yet. Let's wait and see. There's so much potential with Kenobi, seeing Black Chrysanthemum, Commander Cody, Ahsoka, probably going to get to see Commander Rex, for just a brief period. Probably not to fight, but just to see him would be cool.
They made some mistakes, but it's only one season. It's not all.
Yeah.
I still have a lot of hope for Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. They can make mistakes. George Lucas made mistakes. I'm not afraid to say he made a lot of mistakes in his movies, like in the prequels. But overall, like he turns stuff around. They can do that too.
How you doing, Reckless Maniac? But yeah, definitely. Overall, very hopeful for the next season. I wouldn't mind seeing Han Solo, Bosk, Korra, maybe going off-world, doing different things. But more than anything, I want Boba to come unglued. Maybe mid-season or end of the season, but
they need to summon this character.
They need to reassemble him. He doesn't have to be evil.
Yeah, no, but they have to have more depth to this character. I feel like they've taken away, like, he didn't have a lot of depth before, but at least he was really badass. Now it's like he doesn't have a whole lot of depth, and they're trying to change him. But I feel like if you're trying to change him, I thought at first it was like, okay, they're changing him to add him more depth, to make him a better person. But I just feel like now they're changing him to become a better person, but for what reason? There's no depth, there's no, like, great story, like this big story they're trying to tell with him. It's just him kind of being good, and him fighting Cad Bane, which you loosely kind of know from the Clone Wars. I mean, they had episodes from the Clone Wars. I mean, I'm not saying they didn't, but like they didn't try to like connect that story super much as I thought they would have tried. You know, they could have done it in a more meaningful way within this show. But yeah, I think they definitely just, like you said, they need to do stuff with his character and have him come unglued.
Mm-hmm.
They can definitely, there's still room to do that. It's not past the point of no return.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not. You know, yeah, they kind of made him look soft, and I agree with that. But like, if it changes later, I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
you know,
you can give him a reason for it too later on.
I mean, him being with the Tuskens isn't enough of a reason to completely change the entire nature of his character. But
he's gone from, he's gone from like hot to cold. With just that.
Yeah, but this season, compared to Mando season 1, better, but you know, I still want a season 2 of this. I want to see what happens next.
Mm-hmm.
And those are our thoughts and our review. That's how we feel. I know it was a little, you know, just everywhere, but that's kind of how we do it. I don't know where Mr. M went. I don't know where Forrest went.
Oh, I'm here.
Oh. Do you have anything else to say?
Overall, I do hope there's a season 2 so we can see sort of like how he's going to respond now, since he's experienced.
My arm's good, by the way, Reckless.
Like a crisis being in charge. But otherwise, like you said, take it off world. Take it off Tatooine, because we see all of these shows at this point, for the most part, have revolved around Tatooine in some way, shape, or form. So it'll be good, definitely, to see it go off-world in Kenobi.
Yeah. Oh, wow, there's a perfect way to end it. Awesome. Boom. We won. Alright, we can go ahead and quit, Carlos. Yeah, there's so much. The main things I want to see with Kenobi, which we'll get in more later in a different stream, I want to see Cody with Kenobi, a fight somehow there. I want to see Kenobi give the scar to Black Chrysanthemum, because it makes sense. And I want to see flashbacks with Anakin in Order 66, which we're gonna get. I mean, we're getting flashbacks of Anakin in general. I am so excited for fucking Kenobi, man, and John Williams is coming back to do the score. Star Wars is in a good place right now, but something that Star Wars Theory and Josh, you know, the Den of the Nerds, said was they can't wait to get to a place where we're not on our tippy toes with Star Wars anymore, where we're just like, oh, okay, this is going to be good, not, oh, what's going to happen with this? I'm worried. I can't wait to get away from all that crap, you know. Every time we're in a good spot, though, something new happens. I really thought we were finally there with Boba, and I still feel like Boba was good, and I feel like they're going to correct their mistakes. They're going to correct their mistakes. I have full... You know, I have full confidence in Dave and, you know, them. I mean, I got the main thing I wanted, as stupid as it sounds. We got to see how Boba survived, finally on screen. So that makes me happy. So whenever they do the sequels and show, you know, this rumor of Rey training the new generation of Jedi, and fucking doing Kylo Ren being resurrected, maybe we'll get some Boba, because now they don't have an excuse. I know he'll be really old, but who gives a fuck?
Ooh, you know what I'd love to see if there was a sequel? Well, a sequel to the sequels of the sequel. Is have Grogu return. Have Grogu
he could.
return and actually... In fact, not just have him return, have it centered around him.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Moving away from Rey would be a good idea, yeah. Focus on
more
Grogu.
Of his journey from his perspective.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Austin has said this. And a lot of people have been naive, myself to be included, because I've always had the idea that if enough people want something, they can get it if they speak their voice. That's not happening, or else the sequels would be retconned. But 3 years ago, I thought the sequels were going to be retconned. They're not. As much as many people want it, it's not. And that's fine. They could retcon it very easily and make it cool for everyone else, and everyone could still have the sequels, but they're not going to do that because they don't want to admit they were wrong. And that's fine. But personally, I don't want sequels to the sequels. I would rather have a story based on the Knights of the Old Republic or the Old Republic. And my Echo agrees with me. That's what we would want.
Austin's back.
I know they're making this new line of High Republic novels, and a lot of people are enjoying them. I wouldn't mind them basing books or movies on that, because that happens a little later, but some of it I want the Old Republic canon, damn it. Don't do all this stuff where, okay, I want a new story. Yeah, all of us want a new story, but kind of stick to what was laid down, damn it. The Old Republic, they're still coming out with shit that people like. Take a hint. If it works, go with it. If it's broke, fix it. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You're going to fuck it up. You don't go out there to your Camaro and be like, hey, I need to do this and this and this, and fucking start stripping it of everything that makes it so badass. So you want to make new movies? Do the Old Republic. And do it the way it was made. Do some new stuff, yeah, sure. Do that. But don't change it. Don't do all this stuff and make it not make sense. Take your time. Get good directors. Make sure you have a story set for those 3 movies. Make sure actors don't die. All that stuff. Well, you can't exactly do that. You can't do that.
Yeah, literally keep them on life support. Keep them on life support for
just record them on their fucking hospital bed.
I'm gonna be honest. And we're about to end it, but there was a version George Lucas wanted to do for the sequels, where Darth Maul was gonna be the protagonist or the antagonist, and Leia was gonna be basically the new Jedi. I liked that idea now. I did it before. I used to hate it. I used to be like, no, man. But now, that sounds better than what we got with the sequels, I'm just saying. But anyway, somehow we always end up talking about the sequels, so Disney got what they fucking wanted. Damn those assholes.
Disney.
Fucking Disney. Hope y'all enjoyed our review. Comment down below what you thought of Book of Boba Fett. Let us know if you want another season. Let us know if you're excited for Mando Season 3. Let us know. Are you ready for Kenobi? Are you scared? Are you happy? Are you horny? I don't know. Let us know. And we will see you next time when you're ready for some more attitude. And remember, survive, endure, adapt, but above all else, always persevere. Robaboo.